Hello fashion victims, welcome back to this week's episode of Fluke Fashion Fridays. I am so excited with the turnout from the last episode and all the submissions I got for this one. It was really heartbreaking cutting them all down to the final 10 that I'm going to show today. But believe me, the 10 I have to show you today are the most super of heroes, ready to fight crime or just cause some havoc. Before we get to them, I would like to say congratulations to Oakenwolf's Grey Warden for winning last week's fashion show. Also a shout out to A Waifu by Baz who won second and Undead Lord by Beatsman, who won third. All of these decided by the votes in the comments. Here is some beautiful art by me, I am not an artist, to the winner! Oakenwolf, your fashion is king! Alrighty, let's get back to today's fashion. Be sure to shout out your favorite in the comments and watch till the end of the video if you're interested in submitting in next week's show, since the ending is whenever I'll be revealing next week's theme. Now we go back to our fashion runway to meet this week's superhero fashions. First up is Red Lantern by Soldier Monkey 02. The Red Lantern Corp is similar to the more popular Green Lantern Corp, only instead of courage, they embrace and flourish in their anger and rage. This dark, fearsome Aramusha has opted for the demonic execution effect. This guy is really pulling off the intimidating aura of a Red Lantern. I think it's pretty fitting to play the code of the Red Lanterns as we say our farewell to this angry anti-hero.
With blood and rage of crimson red, we fill men's souls with darkest dread, and twist your minds to pain and hate. We'll burn you all. That is your fate.
Coming down the fashion runway this time is Tetsuo by Flamma, a Japanese take on Marvel's Iron Man. I fell in love with this concept as Flamma has created an Iron Man inspired samurai using Kensei armor for the metal plates and creating his own arc reactor emblem sitting in the middle of Tetsuo's chest. But why stop there? Tetsuo uses the smoke idol effect to simulate a machine giving out steam, and his neon execution gives the illusion of a cyborg takedown. Flamma was really clever in this last photo he sent in. He used the vision buff from Tribute to make it look like he was overclocking his arc reactor. That's just so creative and clever, I love it. With a chest made of iron and a sword of steel, Tetsuo is one metal menace on the battlefield. The next hero coming down the runway is bound to make a huge splash because it's Aqualad by Daddy Daubeny. I'm kinda bummed because I was gonna sing a whole Octodad parody song for this guy, but I couldn't find an instrumental version. RIP. Aqualad has some great color coordination going on, and his armor resembles layered shells of the sea if you don't mind suspending disbelief for a moment. He also wields a trident worthy of Poseidon himself. Man, I really wish there was an effect that made a big water splash considering how deadly water is in this game. I mean, you throw somebody into a shallow fountain and they're dead for sure. Everything looks great on this guy, except I don't really know why he has a symbol of a horse on his butt cape. How does that even happen? I don't know. Maybe it's a seahorse. Either way, Aqualad is going to make a splash on the battlefield. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, no it's Mr. Incredibilis by Firehead 2012 and he's bringing the pain! This Centurion is ready to deliver blows with amazing strength worthy of Mr. Incredible himself. While the front of the outfit doesn't have a lot going on, what saves it is the cape. Although Edna Mole would be pissed for sure, the cape really captures the aesthetic of the Incredibles. Firehead really went the extra mile customizing his emblem as well. While superheroes may be going through some controversy in the Incredibles universe, this hero is far from washed up. Let's move on from our conventional heroes to anti-heroes, as Daunted Ink has an Aramusha take on the Punisher. Daunted Ink sent me a reference photo of the Punisher as a samurai. I'm not really knowledgeable into the Punisher series, so I don't really know when this took place or if it's a spinoff, but it's clear where he got the inspiration. Even the skull on this Aramusha follows the art featured in this photo, which has a more rounded and bleak looking skull symbol than the more angular and intimidating skull we often see on the battlefield. Looking at you, Havoc. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but whenever I first saw this Aramusha, I thought even the character model resembled John Bernthal, the actor who plays Punisher in his series on Netflix. Either way, this Aramusha is ready to inflict his own brand of justice on the battlefield. Back to the fashion runway, we have another figure walking the gray line. I'm honestly not sure where he'd lie on the good and evil spectrum, but we have Hellboy by Thresher C88. This raider is a straight up demon who was raised to be relatively wholesome if you want to be generous. If you look closer, you'll see that he has sawed off his demonic horns just as Hellboy did in his comic line. His axe may be plain, but it'll do the job as Hellboy's otherworldly strength and demonic aura are all this raider needs to score victory. Back to the heroic side of our heroes, we have Captain Incredibliss by Captain Incredibliss. Not to be confused with Mr. Incredibliss from earlier, I bet they have some rivalry in terms of branding. This Centurion is modeled after Captain America with a few creative liberties. Liberty. Although missing a shield, this Centurion is equipped with a short sword and a fiery temper, ready to let freedom ring. This is the good guy. Although a few hundred years too early, Captain Incredibliss is proud to be an American. The next fashion is a pretty fun one. We have Doctor Strange by Manslock. Manslock has outfitted his Aramusha to emulate how Benedict Cumberbatch appears in the Doctor Strange film as a sorcerer in training. In the movie, Doctor Strange wears an amulet around his neck, which inside it holds a... Spoilers, please skip to this time if you don't want to be spoiled on Doctor Strange. Infinity Stone inside. This amulet is featured prominently on the Aramusha. A bit too low, but I get the idea. If you haven't decided who to vote for the winner of this fashion show, I'm sure Aramusha Doctor Strange will come to bargain. Oh man, the jokes are all downhill from here. Sliding down the runway, we have the Silver Centurion by Chibi Ruby Rose. I'm a really big fan of old Silver and Golden Age comics, and just the name Silver Centurion sounds like something that could have existed in that era. Actually, let me Google that real quick. Oh shit, that was actually a title for one of the Iron Man armors. Is that what this fashion is going for? Oh, probably not. Either way, the Centurion has a very sleek look. I don't see the silver armor material used very much, and I think that Ruby Rose did a good job showing it off here. This Centurion looks more like an ode to the Silver Surfer. Maybe instead of a surfboard, he summons the horse on his head. With his polished armor and stare of death, this shiny Centurion is ready to blind all of his foes. Alrighty, last fashion to display is kind of an oddball. It comes from a super veteran of our Discord. This is Alliance of Avalon by Gotta Man, I am so excited to show off Gato on my channel, and he has created what seems to be a nod to the Fantastic Four and other team-based Sentai like Power Rangers in For Honor. We've got a blue Kinsei, a red Nabushi, green Shigoki, and it looks like a leader Aramusha, and they're all dressed in matching white uniform. I bet Orochi is feeling pretty left out right now. Poor guy. This fighting force is one four-man you don't want to see in matchmaking, even though it's just one guy on 4 computers. Alright, so that does it for all your superhero fashions. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to comment your favorite fashion in the comments so they have a chance to win the show. Winners will be announced next week along with the new fashions. Next week's fashion theme will be memes and novelty. Now let me explain this a little bit. With this theme, what I'm thinking of is mostly joke outfits, something to make us all laugh. Imagine what your hero would dress as if he went to a costume party or a con or something. Be creative, and I'll be really lenient with this one as long as it's not offensive and it is funny. The rules and how to submit are in the description below, so be sure to read that. And as always, the fashion shows are open to everyone on any console as long as you can get me the pictures or videos in a decent quality. Alrighty, before I go, I just want to say that I'm so sorry there wasn't a meme video this week. I'm working on editing a few different projects, but this week college started back, so I got a little caught off guard with the new workload. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I'll see you next week on Flukerson Fashion Fridays!